here we got a lot of work we do. I thought when I was younger, of course I was stronger than I am now, but I had to have big and heavy saddle. This is my Trail Lite saddle. It is Cordura on the skirting, and on the seat and pummel, it's all leather. And you can see by looking at this saddle, I put a lot of miles in it. You can see I wrap my horn with inner tube so that when I rope something, I'm able to hold into place. I found I don't need big and heavy. I need something that's going to be stout, more modern. I tell folks all the time, let's look at our different cars. A Model A had wood framing and tin nailed onto it. Our new cars have unibodies in them. They're meant to, in an accident, fold up. They're more flexible. That's what I've done with this saddle. Have a polypropylene tree in it. I have skirting that's easy to take care of, easy to maintain. And I have a saddle that I can work in or I can play in that's going to be tough. You can see I keep my hobbles on here as well. I keep rawhide hobbles. We don't tie our mules to trees out here because we don't have them. Plus that it is against law in any national forest to tie to a tree. Britching is extremely important on a mule. A britching has muscle mass. You can put this britching on from the bottom to the top. You have 10 to 12 inches depending upon the hip that you have on your mule. You do not want to keep your britching in the same place. When you have a heel, a lot of heels that should be going up and down, if you lower your britching, you'll be able to have your mule sit down on the britching and hold the saddle back. When you raise the britching, the saddle then, that means you're going to be mostly be riding on a lot of flat ground. When you've got a lot of little tiny heels, it's pretty easy to ride. You can ride with your britching up. Now notice what I have here. I have buckles on the adjustments of my britching. I also have on my quarter strap a buckle adjustment here as well. My back straps, these two straps here, I want to keep what's called my hip plate. That's this pad right here. I want to keep it in the center of the hip, somewhere between the dock of the tail and the point of the croup, right here. I want to keep it on the downside. When I do my measurements, with my leg being fairly straight to my hip, I want to be able to slide my hand in. That is a ½ inch. Then when I pull my hand away, as soon as I feel some pressure here, I should see 1 inch. Your saddle will move 1 inch to 1.5 inches forward and back, left and right. That is optimum for the comfort of your mule. More than 1.5 inches, your saddle will go forward and get on top of the scapula. That scapula moves up and down like pistons, and when that saddle goes forward, mule's going to shake his head and tell you he's uncomfortable. When I rig up my saddles with my britchings, I put my quarter strap underneath my leg and it attaches to this D-ring. Notice I am using the buckle on my cinch and I'm not creating a knot up here, putting the pressure upon my leg. When I take and cinch my mule up, I then go into the tongue of my cinch and then I go up into my keeper right here. By doing that, I don't have a big loop underneath my leg. Now for britching, you can see I have the quarter strap comes from this D-ring down to here. This right here is an area that is most comfortable for the mule to put the D-ring here, because in this area is where you usually see the driest area. In this area on the mule's back, you see the driest area, and you usually see the most white hairs. White hairs are caused by a scald. It's from too tight of a front cinch, not a tight enough back cinch. When I take and put my britching on, I do not want to keep it in the same place. I want to move it up and down, especially when I have a colt that don't know a lot about going up and down. They're going to be using their hips different, so you continually want to be changing your britching. Why a britching over a crouper? A crouper was never designed for more than 6 to 8 pounds. A crouper will allow a saddle to move 2 to 2.5 inches forward and back, left and right. A crouper only goes under the dock of the tail, and when you take and pull up on the tail and sit down here, you're going to take those vertebrae that are supposed to look like this, and you're going to start breaking them down. Now, a lot of people are going to think, well, now, you know, my mule's fine. I've been riding it for 2, 3, 5 years with a crouper. If you took your mule, which you should do, to a chiropractor, you will find you are starting to take vertebrae and put them out of place. The downside of vertebrae going out of place is that pretty soon the mule braces into pain, but pretty soon these bones start rubbing together. Instead of being nice and flush, they start tipping like this, start rubbing together. You start getting arthritis starting to set in. You just lost your good buddy who you've taken up and down the trail. So britching is super important to have adjusted correctly.